Okay, so we're going live. The last video was actually cut off because I had a technical issue, and the problem is when the technical issue happens, I have to hide the screen on the phone. The problem is that sometimes the videos won't ever end. So I knew that I had to kind of like end the video and then delete the video to be able to get to do the next video, which is where I go live. Here's the thing. I understand the other video is super important. I will redo it. I'll go through the statistical details again, why the retired are in kind of a tricky spot, why there's so many new retired people that are going to be applying and the increased amount of boomers, etc. But we need to get to this video because this video, I think, helps people most. Even though it gets way fewer views, it is where people get to call me and for 5 to 7 minutes have me answer questions for free, basically whatever's bugging them when it comes to the Social Security Disability Program. Now, there are some rules with this video, and these rules are super incredibly important. Number one, you only get about 5 to 7 minutes per call. Number two, just to be fair, no story mode. You can't just go into a story and just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle your way through it. Have your legal questions super ready to roll. Don't be like, I'm not really sure what I want to ask. Know exactly what you want to ask right up front. And then the final thing is that when you call in, use a fake name throughout this process. It's absolutely crucial for you to use a fake name throughout this process. Okay, so here's what will happen. Yep, I'm taking questions for this video. I'm going to go ahead and put the 407-279-1754 phone number in there. And then basically you guys can go ahead and give me a call. You guys know how this works. You call the 407-279-1754 phone number. Now, if you're watching this video later and you're calling me at 3 a.m. and my phone is ringing, I will hate you. But the thing is this, like we're doing 30 minutes and we're starting at 10:25 p.m. on July 9th. So here's the first caller. Let's get rolling. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, Attorney. My name is Bob, and I am also from New Jersey. I've got a question to ask.
Cool.
I'm not understanding the law as far as a married couple, one who's on Social Security supplement and one on disability, that if too much money income into the house and thus one of them gets kicked off Social Security, can you clarify that law for me and how to get back on benefits again?
So just to summarize, one is SSDI, one is SSI. The SSDI is working. Is that correct?
Non-working.
None are working. Okay, so but income is
Okay,
so none are working, but is income coming into the house?
No income coming into the house.
Okay, so the SSI person you're saying is getting punished. So there's a couple of usual ways they get punished. When there's income coming into the house and the other partner is earning too much, or they're both on SSI and there's a marriage penalty rule, or basically, it's a situation where all of a sudden, I don't know, let's say one of them wins the lottery and the SSI person gets punished the most. So, and you're talking about an SSDI SSI situation. One spouse has each other, has that program and the other program, right?
I am. That is correct.
So what was the penalty? What'd you get hit with?
No, the penalty is just that the benefits are being taken away, including the medical benefits as well, which are sorely needed.
So you're losing. So the SSI benefits, I'm assuming, are being lost in this situation, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so Medicaid and your 943 are gone. What did they put in the letter as to the reasoning as to why they're taking them away?
According to the letter, basically what it said was your household is making too much money, and we will be terminating your benefits, which was already done.
So is anybody in the household making money?
Again, non-working. The person who's on disability was because of an acute stroke, unable to return back to work.
So then where's the income coming from?
Like I said, the income is coming from the two checks in which the state cut off one of them. I mean, not the state, the government.
Well, the feds, yeah. Yeah, but that's not income. That's a benefit. So is there any income coming in anywhere from these two individuals receiving SSDI and SSI?
None whatsoever.
Okay, so they made a mistake. So you got to go ahead and call them and say, what income? Because they have income attributed to one of you, and that income is probably for the year over the 35K-ish area. So, but if you have no income coming in, then bottom line is you shouldn't be losing the SSI $943 per month. You should still have that plus the Medicaid.
Okay, even though that the wife is collecting Social Security disability.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a check. I mean, that's considered income. That's a benefit. They don't use that against you for that purposes. So no,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, you should be fine. But yeah, give them a call, find out what the deal is. What probably happened is some company out there attributed income to you or somebody else, one of the two of you, by mixing up Social Security numbers, and then all of a sudden, for the yearly income, it's saying, oh, one of you earned $60,000, yada yada. So it's probably just a mix up with the Social Security reported to the IRS, which then got reported to the SSA.
Okay, thank you very much for answering my question. I hope you have a good night, sir.
Thank you, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So Love Piece is saying, no, it's not correct. No, so pretty much for SSDI benefits, they never really go over the amount that would be problematic. So I've never seen an SSDI check eliminate SSDI base, and also it's not considered a traditional income, which is what they're using. Charlton Zimmerman said, is SSDI getting a $4,441 boost in September? Saw it on YouTube. No, there's no statute or rule that came out that said that there's a 4,441 boost coming out. So keep in mind when you see those, usually what it is that they're calculating the maximum amount that you can get on Title II benefits and saying that amount is what somebody might be getting per month. But there's no like monthly increase that's coming to, or like yearly total increase that's coming to SSDI benefits. The only time you're going to see that increase is when there's basically a COLA boost, which you guys know is the cost of living adjustment, where they increase the benefits based off a percentage, for the next year. But that takes place in January. Hey, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your question? Go ahead. So yeah, keep in mind you've got to mute the phone on your end, or the computer, or the TV, and then we can go ahead and talk right through the phone.
So yeah, keep in mind you've got to mute the phone on your end, or the computer, or the TV, and then you can go ahead and talk right through the phone. You're talking to me?
Yeah, so I'm talking to you. So you got to go ahead and mute the computer or the TV on your end. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, I had a question about Social Security disability.
Right, but you got to mute the TV or the computer on your end, because we're talking through the phone and it's doing that. It's doing that. You hear it in the background? Yeah, you just gotta. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I turned it down. I apologize.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so go ahead.
If you are on Social Security disability and you retire in another country, does Social Security hold that against you?
So wait, one more time. Go ahead.
If you're on Social Security disability and you want to retire in another country, will Social Security come after you for doing that?
Well, I mean, what kind of Social Security are you on? Because there's zillions of programs that put up
Social Security disability.
Okay, so you're on SSDI or different?
SSDI, yeah.
Okay, are there any
SSDI,
DAC
yeah.
benefits? No, it's just straight SSDI, right?
SSDI that I paid into work, yes.
Okay, so I have had OID where they're investigating somebody because they were working in another country. Yeah, they do. It's a little bit different process than somebody getting investigated who's basically working, inside the country, because they'll literally go talk to your bosses. But the basic.
I'm not working. I'm not working in another country. I'm retiring.
Okay, so. But if you're on SSDI benefits and you intend to work outside of the country, you're saying, will they go ahead and cut off your SSDI benefits or alter them?
No, I'm not intending. I'm asking, if I retire, can I get my benefits? I'll be living in another country.
Oh. So yeah, if you retire and go on a retirement, so I'm assuming you're about to become 67, right?
No, I got Social Security disability, and I'm almost 58.
So then. Okay, so if you're almost 58, and I'm assuming you're currently working in another country, right?
No, I'm not working at all.
Buddy, all
I'm
right,
retired.
let me get the facts right up front, because the question you asked is, if you work in another country, is it going to alter your
Oh, no.
SSDI?
If you retire, I didn't mean to say work. If you retire in another country
Okay.
and you get Social Security disability,
Okay.
will that be held against you or used against you?
Okay. So in that instance, you can go ahead and stay on SSDI until you hit 67, transfer over to retirement benefits, and live in that other country and receive them. It's not like SSI where you got to be in the country, but you can go and live in another country. But remember, some countries, they limit your ability to receive benefits. So if it's like Iran or Iraq, they're not going to, you have to go through a process to even be allowed to receive benefits in those places. So which country are we talking about?
Philippines.
Yeah, so you're military, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, great. It's every man, Philippines and Thailand. Everybody from the military ends up living over there. Okay, so bottom line is this: I'm jealous. Second bottom line is, yeah, you can live over there. It's totally fine. Just be careful. Just be careful, and you know what I'm talking about. So, indeed, yeah.
Sure.
So,
I get it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that because the Social Security disability thing is a new thing to me. So I just want to make sure that if I go and I live in another country, retired, and I'm getting my Social Security disability, that's not going to be held against me or anything like that. That's all.
No, you're fine. You can go over there and receive your retirement. And keep in mind too, like, even if you retire, so let me just give you the summary as to what all the military guys always do when they end up over there. So basically, when you end up over there, let's say you hit 67. Well, the real thing is, what they do is they go over there while receiving their SSDI, and then they get like a mini job that pays them very little. That's still under the SGA. And then when they retire, they increase whatever job they're doing, and then they end up basically, earning over, and there's no SGA limitation once you hit that, retirement and go into retirement benefits. Some of them actually get off of SSDI benefits early and go into retirement so they can earn more while they're living over there. Because a lot of them end up getting jobs, and the types of jobs they do, just to be straightforward, are like security oriented jobs, because they have military training, they know how to use firearms, all that stuff. So that's what most guys do. Yeah.
Can you gravitate over to SSI at 62?
No, you don't want an SSI. You're going to stay on SSDI until you hit 67 and then switch over to retirement, or you're going to stay on SSDI until you want to earn over SGA, when you're 62 or older. And if you want to earn over SGA and, make bigger money, like there's a corporation over there that wants to hire you and you kind of, fly around, then you're going to ditch SSDI, transition to retirement, and earn a higher amount and receive those funds. But you're ditching SSDI benefits between 62 and up to 67 because you have better financial options that will pay you more.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a great evening, sir.
You as well, good sir. Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So many military guys. Vietnam, Philippines is the big one. I'm not going to say why, but Philippines, man, and the islands. Have you seen the drone footage videos of the islands over there? Oh my goodness. Super thank you to Diana Fernandez and Lucinda Bragg for the donations. It's absolutely amazing. All right, let's do the next one real quick. Here we go. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Legal question. I'm on SSI currently, and I'm turning 62 in February. And the administration says that they're going to force me to retire at 62.
So you were on SSI or SSDI?
SSI happened to be one of those that get $628 a month. So,
okay.
It's ridiculous. But the real fact is the retirement at 62. When they say they're forcing me, what does that mean?
So basically, the SSI program, they have a rule where when you apply for SSI, you are required to be applied for anything and everything that might be under the Social Security umbrella. And then they create a timeline inside their system that says, when he hits this, he'll transition to that. When he hits this, he'll transition to that. So the earliest point at which you could retire would be 62. And so SSI automatically requires you to transition to retirement at basically 62. But the kicker is you're probably going to get more benefits around $1,000 because they'll use SSI to bridge the retirement benefits up to $1,000 if your retirement is less than $1,000.
We probably won't be. It's in my benefit to go ahead and retire since I have, paid in a bunch of money already.
Well, they're going to make you anyway. Yeah, at 62, SSI always transition
and,
time. Yeah.
And quite frankly, that's okay because this is no living.
Yeah.
So, you answered my question. I do appreciate it. Enjoy your day.
Absolutely good, sir. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I really want to go to the Philippines now. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, you know what I'd love to do tomorrow? Go to a homeless center, work with the homeless. I haven't been to the homeless center for 3 weeks because I've been in New Jersey doing landscaping. But the bottom line is like, I would love to go to the Philippines. Just the islands. If you guys get a chance to look at like YouTube drone footage of the islands of Philippines, it's just absolutely gorgeous. There's no calls coming in. All right. So since we have no calls coming in, and I'm sure there will be one instantly, let's see if there are any questions that have popped up in the chat section. So put your questions right at the bottom so I can read them and answer them before basically, another caller calls in. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Ingrid said, just got here on SSDI. It is possible to return to full-time work, get sick, working again, end up getting less SSDI retirement if you try to work and if it fails miserably. So if you technically transition from SSDI over to retirement and you realize you can't work while on retirement, then yes, you did reduce your retirement benefits by taking them early. And you can try to get back onto SSDI benefits until basically you reach 67, and then you'll be forced on a retirement off of SSDI benefits. Lucinda Braggs, thank you for the $3 donation. That's absolutely awesome. Very, very cool. Let's see. Bottled Walter in the Philippines is a must. Yes. Bottled water. Got it. So I saw Bottled Walter in the Philippines. I was like, yes, put me in a bottle. Ship me. Send me over. Matt said, I got a question. How hard is it to get SSDI if you have autism? Autism is kind of like fibromyalgia. Autism, well, no, fibro's worse for the autism is tough because the problem is at the end of the day, you need an RFC letter that's really stating where you're at on the severity scales to your limitations. If you don't have that, then the scales are kind of limited in their explanation, but it's a tougher one to win. It's definitely a tougher one. Whenever I get an autism claim that comes in, I'm always very, very inquisitive with questions about, how their autism limits their ability to do things. So we've got another caller on the phone real quick. Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. Remember to use a fake name throughout this call. What is your legal name? Go ahead.
Stephen.
Howdy, good sir.
How you doing?
Good.
I have a couple questions if you have a minute.
Sure, go ahead.
About a year and a half ago, I'm on a vet on have been on a low income pension. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, I got you.
For 24 years.
Wow.
I'm 71 years old now.
Sure.
And so I got a letter from Social Security saying, if you want to, you never have, applied, and if you want to get your SSI, you can get it. Here's how much you can get. So I called the regional office and asked them,
okay,
is it okay if I do it?
So you mean because so the kicker with the VA, like how much are you getting in VA benefits per month?
Around $1,350.
Okay, so in that instance, you can technically option into SSI benefits. So what a lot of people don't realize is that what people tell people online is that if you get VA benefits, you can also get SSI. That's true if you're getting 100% or close to 100% VA benefits, because it basically it's other income that's considered against essentially SSI. As to what you're getting per month. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
About a month ago, I got a letter from the VA saying that I need to pay back every dime of Social Security because of overpayment.
Have you considered receiving the same amount of VA benefits throughout the past 10 years?
It goes up a little bit every year, yeah.
Yeah, other than the COLA? Okay. So, okay, I have a question. When did you file for SSI and start receiving SSI benefits?
March of last year.
Mm.
And I called the regional office in January or February.
Okay, so
And my question is, are those calls recorded?
sometimes. So here's the thing with the whole recorded calls thing. The local field office sometimes records them. DDS doesn't usually record them from what I've seen. They then have to like put in, they have like a sheet that they fill out afterwards, like a contact sheet about what was talked about. And then of course the hearings, they are always recorded. They go like, oh, we're going on the record. And then they record them.
Yeah, this wasn't a hearing. I just called up there to ask the question, can I collect my Social Security? And I was told yes. And over a year later, I get the overpayment notice.
Wait, are you saying Social Security retirement or SSI? Wait, you're 70 something.
Retirement.
Yeah.
Retirement.
So if you're just going to get your retirement, you can absolutely get your retirement without issue. Because if so how much was your retirement supposed to be?
It was only $550.
Did you get an increase of SSI on top of that?
No, I didn't because of my VA pension.
Okay, so the way it's supposed to
I didn't
work,
qualify for it.
And you're only getting like, what was it, $1,300 in VA?
Correct.
Yeah, so the way it's supposed to work is when you're getting a really small amount on VA, you can also get some SSI, but there's like a reduction amount to the SSI. So, I mean, you might be at that limit. I'd have to look at the math, and it's 10:44 p.m. and I don't do math after 5 p.m. But the point is,
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, but the point is with that, I guess what I would say is this. You should have absolutely no restriction in receiving your retirement benefits in combination with your VA pension because those are stackable.
It's not really a pension, a low-income pension. It's different, I guess.
Send me the thing via email because this might be some caveat thing that I just haven't worked on before. Send me like a thing in an email. Yeah, send it to me.
One other question.
Sure.
Real quick. It kind of made me mad that they did that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was released from the service, your separation papers, you know what they are, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Along with your DD 214, I had a disability then, and they wrote. The only thing I can remember, I don't even have a copy of it anymore. The only thing I remember clearly is they wrote that I might have a hard time, getting a job with a large corporation due to my, disabilities at the time when I was discharged.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been on a low income pension for 24 years without employment. And then for a few years, even before that, should I file for TDUI?
I mean, honestly, man, like, here's the thing, like, when you left the service, okay, so how long ago did you leave the service?
Discharged in 1972.
And did you have a hard time keeping a job after that?
I sure did. That's why I only could get $550 a month on my Social Security.
Yeah, I was picking up that too. So my thinking is you should have absolutely applied for VA benefits because it's probably anxiety, depression, panic attacks. You're probably a little bit hostile with people, maybe some mood disorders. Yeah.
I've been taking anxiety medicine for 25 years straight at the VA.
Oh my God. Yeah, you should absolutely be getting a compensation pension attachment. Absolutely. Like at least get some percentages on the board. I'm not saying you're going to get a P&T, but a TDIU, absolutely. So, yes.
TDIUs are hard to get, aren't they?
Well, everything's hard to get right now. The country's in like a tailspin because, it shot itself in the butt, like the fins are not good.
Right.
It's not like they used to call, just so you know, Social Security disability law a cash cow 15 years ago for attorneys. And now it's the opposite of that. It's like if you take SSI claimants, you're literally losing money as you represent them. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I've always known that I could probably, get service connected. I've known this. And I I always, could get by, but now it's kind of wondering if I'm going to be able to get by. And I got a little mad, and so I put in my, what do you call it, when you let them know that you want to file for service-connected disability.
Yeah, I would immediately
Intent to file. It's done.
Yeah, I would get that in, and then I'll also get in basically, their HIPAA forms, because they're going to want those too. But yeah, man, I mean, honestly, I'm registered in that. You can call me tomorrow, and well, no, I'm working with the homeless tomorrow. Every Wednesday I work with the homeless, but call me on Thursday, and I can kind of walk you through some of the things you need to do to get it rolling. I can't represent you for that stuff until you get a denial for the VA side. SSA side, you represent them right at the initial filing, but you got to get your first,
if you can steer me in the right direction, if I'm still here and present,
yeah.
If I get denied the first time, you can feel free to have at it at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call on Thursday.
And then when you call me, ask me about nexus letters specifically and terminology that must be included in them to have a successful adjudication for compensation under the VA.
Will do. I'll write that down. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too.
Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Perfect, everybody. Okay, I want to say super thank you to Naomi Pierce, $1.99 donation. Please see prior messages. All right, let me go scroll up a little. I'm looking for Naomi. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. Naomi Pierce. Fibromyalgia since 1997. My father just passed, and I will be receiving monies from a trust. Will my SSDI continue to be processed? Yeah, so basically, trust funds are tricky. And normally when we do stuff on YouTube, we give like general bright line rules. But the problem with trust funds is that sometimes trust funds are set up as traditional incomes that you receive like on a monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever basis. And those are accounted for by SSDI if it's over the $1,550 SGA limitation. So the problem is maybe sometimes trust funds come in as money that's not countable income. Sometimes it's not an income. Sometimes they come in as a countable income. So it depends on what's in the trust and what's being dispersed to you. Diana Fernandez, thank you for the, don't forget to hit the like button. That's absolutely true. Please remember to like and subscribe because I do this for free. I come on here, I answer questions for people who have tough questions, and basically don't go to bed early enough as a result. So with that said, let me see. Mrs. K said, can you get SSDI 53, 54 in a few months? Herniated disc on multiple levels, severe, osteoarthritis, multiple joints, DDD, spinal stenosis, muscular lengths. Maybe, Mrs. K, call in during the live. I'm going to take the next call, but crap, I hit the wrong button. Hold on. I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Let me call the person back. Oh, geez. Oh, I've ruined everything. The world is going to end. Hold on. Let me click the button again. I'm clicking it. I'm clicking the speaker button. Here we go. All right, we should be good to go. Let me see if I can get this person on the phone. That way we are good to go. Let's see what we got here. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
I actually have two quick questions for you. The first one is just very basic. With the new rule that came out in June with the 5-year for looking at work history, if you applied in your disability date for your application is May 1st, are you doing the 5-year or 15-year for the work history for the Social Security? And the second question is, can you explain the 55-year-old rule? Because this is my second application. The first application, what happened was they said I was disabled, but I could do stationary work, so I wasn't qualified to get SSDI. So, but my attorney said that since I'm 54, almost 55, reapply because then there's a 55-year or 55 age rule where that stationary thing probably would not come into play. Can you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so what you're talking about is gridding out 55 plus. But first, before we go into that, did you file or have an alleged onset date that was before you turned 55? Like, how old are you right now?
I am 54. I'll be 55 in December.
Okay. All right. So all right. So, okay. So basically you really want to know about the 50 to 55, 54 in a day before 55 rule, because the 55 rule, you haven't even hit that yet. So, okay. All right. So, because, you're looking at like a new filing and then all of your back pay is going to be stuck in the 50 to 54 in a day before 55. All right. So grid outs. there's not enough time in 5 to 7 minutes for me to like give you the ultimate explanation as to how grid outs work. But the bottom line is this: age, right? 5-year categories, each age 5 years up, it becomes easier to be found disabled. Education, the higher the education you have, basically they look at, not, able to speak or write, then they look at, like your first grade to third grade to sixth grade. Well, no, it's technically, I think 1 to 6, and then 6 to, and then it's like 7 to 12, and then it's like 12 and up, and blah, blah, blah. They look at the different education levels as to your capacity to do different types of jobs that are out there. Because remember, if you have a 4th grade education, you're not going to be a rocket scientist. It's just very unlikely. So they look at that.
Right.
They also look at, basically types of prior jobs that you had. What was their skill level? SVPs, SVP 1, 2, 3, through all the way through 9. The 1 level and 2 level are, unskilled, 3 and 4 semi-skilled, 5 to 9 skilled. Basically, it's how long it takes for you to learn the job. They look at those jobs and look at transferable skills. And they're like, okay, did this guy have skills to manage other people? Did this guy have skills to do this or do that? And are those transferable to other types of jobs that we could potentially give him in the national economy in a hypo? So they look at all of that. And they look to see basically if you basically like could not do, right, these other types of jobs out there that fit into this category. Now, the problem you're going to run into is that the grid outs for the 50 to 54 and a day before 55 category aren't amazing, right? As you get to like, they start at the sedentary, then they go to the light, and then they go to the medium. When you're at 60 plus, they just basically say, look, can you do your past work? No. Boom, found disabled, right? That's the, and remember when they changed it to the past 5 years, man, there ain't much work within the past 5 years for those people. It's usually like 1 or 2 jobs and that's it. So what happened as a result of that new rule coming in, a lot of SSI people who didn't really work much throughout their life are more likely to be found disabled. A lot of people who worked blue collar their entire life are more likely to be found disabled. People who worked in one job their entire life are more likely to be found disabled. And then basically 60 plus year olds are more likely to be found disabled. So all the categories of people that they already like to approve are more likely to be found disabled. And all the people that they don't really like to approve are now even less likely to be found disabled.
Okay, and just for a brief view with mine, with my first application, I applied when I was 51.
Okay.
And I have a high education level, and they said I can't do the work I did before, but I can do the very minimum work, like sit at a desk and stuff. But that's why I was asked about the 55. But my attorney, even though I'm only 54, he said apply right now because you're 54, so they'll probably like take that. What do you call it? Sedentary or. I could do sedentary work. Is that what they call it? Or
I mean, they're not going to push you into the next category of 55 plus because all of your back pay and retroactive benefits are in the 50 to 54 and a day before 55 category. So they're not going to adjudicate you up. They're going to keep you in the 50 to 54 category.
Okay. And then I guess the other question was, can that 5-year rule, even though my new application is dated May 1st, are they only going to look at 5 years, or are they going to look like they did before 15 years of work history?
No, it's 5 years from the date you claim you became disabled. So 5 years back from that. It's not 5 years from the hearing date. It's 5 days from the alleged onset date, which means when you. So what was your AOD for the claim?
The second claim, this is a brand new claim. I went to the hearing and I lost it because they said I could do the station work. So my new claim, I just started it on May 1st of this year. So,
well, that one's easy because we know your alleged onset date is going to be the month after last month you got denied. But with the prior claim, what was the actual legal alleged onset date?
That would have been August 2nd of 2021.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's, bottom line is like you're going 5 years back from that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I just didn't know how that new rule that came out in June with the Social Security was going to affect it if I had, with the history and stuff. Okay.
So what you're saying is, can you attach by using that rule? The only way you could do that is if you went ahead and filed a new claim, but were originally denied with the prior claim as a result of an element 4 denial because of the 15-year principle. And you would have had a different outcome, would have been the 5-year application principle. So, I mean, when they denied you with the last claim, it sounded like they found other types of jobs in the national economy that you could potentially do, as opposed to just denying you at element 4, right?
Correct. So, and that's where they denied me because they said I could do stationary work or down work. I can't do any like standing, but I can't lift with one arm and stuff like that. But I can sit for 6 hours. They said, even though the doctor said no, he can't. But I mean, that's where I lost it, because they said I could sit for 6 hours at a job and do 6 hours of sit down work without having to do any lifting or any typing and stuff like that.
So I mean, like here's what I would say. And here's kind of the big thing with your situation. You're worried about your DLI at this point. So what is your date last insured?
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
So DLI, your date last insured. Do you have your decision letter with you there where you got the denial? Yeah, see if you can find it real quick, because this is important. Like, if you learn one thing from this call, this is the important part. This is the part where it's like, oh shit, there might be a problem. Yeah.
And he wants the one from the
unfavorable, where it says like unfavorable, we don't love you. That one. Yeah.
Okay. I might not be able to find it this quick, but maybe on next show I can call back.
That's fine. Look for an area that says date last insured. The claimant has not been insured or has been insured up until yada yada date. That's the date I need. It's usually in bold. It's like one of the headliners in bold.
Okay, and just I am still working, but like at $5,000 a year. So I mean,
sure.
So I don't know if that makes a difference with what you're asking for, but stuff like that. But okay.
I mean, it's under SGA, but it's going to be up to the judge to figure out whether or not they think that you are, playing the game. But call me during the next sesh. I'll be live on Thursday, and then we can always go through it then.
Okay, sounds great. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, good sir. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Okay, yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So I wanted to do a super thank you to Old School Truck Driver. Did a $5 donation. Haven't seen you in a while with the pop-up there, which is awesome. Love the little happy face in the train. Very, very cool. There was a question from Naomi Pierce, more above from that message. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Please see prior messages. Please see prior messages. You know what? I'm not seeing it. There's a lot of people I got to scroll through here. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can find this thing real quick. Naomi Pierce, more above from that message. Please see prior messages. I am not seeing the answer. Can you copy and paste it to the bottom? I'll go ahead and figure it out from there. Oh, let me see what we got here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not seeing more on that question. I'm seeing Rude Rabbit, Real Sassafras. Okay, Real Sassafras said comment. I was diagnosed with RA. Do I qualify immediately? Rheumatoid arthritis. I'm assuming that you mean by the acronym. No, not automatically. I mean, obviously what your hands do, depends on many factors and how bad they actually are. Like, they could be super severe and you could get approved, or not that severe. So let me see if we got Naomi's update down here. I'm still not seeing that update. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the next caller shortly. Let's see what we got here. Let's see anything. Psoriatic arthritis, severe high level volume, right? Old school high. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of chat, which is awesome. I'm going to wait for the next caller to call in, and then I'll take that and go ahead and answer more questions. I see one from Corrine Aldosa. Hi, I filed for SSDI and qualified, got approved 1,200, but got my SS retirement taken away 2,000. Found out after hearing case was over. Can I get my SS retirement back at age 62? Worked. Thank you. So, I mean, filed for SSDI and qualified, got approved 1,200, but got my SS retirement taken away 2,000. So you should be on SSDI until you reach 67 and then go on to retirement. So that's realistically how it should work out. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. So real quick, what is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Hey, Attorney Walter. My question is, I did pass the CDR about 6 months ago.
Okay.
It was a very long one, about 14 months. But they've not stopped with the investigation, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but they are using federal agents. The last time I went down the road to send off another FOIA request at the UPS store that's about 3 miles down the road,
Okay.
I got picked up by somebody that was federal in their own car, but with a government tag, and they sat in their car and for 20 minutes right by the entrance, and I waited. And then I got in there about 5 minutes before they closed to get my request sent off by UPS. But can they decline to answer the request to see if there is any type of warrant they've taken out to investigate me on this level?
So technically, yeah, they're not supposed to be able to decline it, but they can always. So here's what they do as techniques to basically reduce the likelihood of you getting a proper answer. Number one, they'll answer it incorrectly or basically leave out important things. Number two, they'll just never answer it. And, it'll just be one of those things where they never get to it. Number three, they call you up and try to give you a quick answer, but then never actually answer it in full. And then they say, sorry, I have no additional information. And then number four is that, basically they will, tell you essentially at some point that they will catch back up to you and give you this division or that division, or somebody's supposed to call you, whatever, and then nothing ever really happens from there. Those are the main ways that they handle kind of not giving you what your FOIA request. By the way, people who don't know what a FOIA is, it's Freedom of Information Act. It's where you request basically an answer from the government about a particular question. And people are submitting them all the time to the government, so they're a little bit overloaded. But the bottom line is, it's how you request information from the Fed about things that are going on. Could be about anybody else, could be about you, etc. Sometimes they have to restrict information that you receive because obviously it might be protected. But in your situation, you are the person requesting information about an investigation. So I guess my question to you is, what information have they given you so far related to the FOIA request that you've actually sent in?
Yes, sir. I filed it, like you had said, over the computer in December the 28th of last year.
Okay.
And then I called twice in about 4 months. I got a call back, and there was one nice guy that left me a voicemail. He called early in the morning, and he said that he misunderstood my question I left him, or like you said, my question I thought was pretty clear, but it seemed like he might on purposely rerouted and sort of sidestepped the question and said that normally with FOIA requests, they don't, if there's an ongoing investigation still active, that they don't release information about it. If they obtain a warrant to put like tracking devices on cars, and then like I guess they have the ability to listen to your cell phone conversations and track your phone. But he said that normally when it's active, they don't release any information until it becomes closed, and then he says, then they're able to tell you, yes, there was a warrant, or yes, there was a investigation where they took it to Office of Inspector General and had the local sheriff's department and federal agents involved, which that's what they had involved. And I have some of my records I thought were pretty clear, and I have a lot of good records from a lot of really prestigious hospitals, but my life has been in the past by train or bus to go to doctors. So I have a lot of records, but they handpicked the weakest records that I turned in and then left out some of my stronger points with my DDE or DDS review. But sorry, back to that. He just passively said that if it's closed, they'll release that if there's a warrant or not. And then I got a lady that called me back from that office, and she worked along more in a different division of that office. And she said that she wasn't able to tell me anything, and that she then sort of sarcastically said in a manner that I was still under investigation, and that I would be receiving a letter soon about my disability. And I said, well, okay. Did they send something? Are they sending a letter out so I can be looking for it, or what? And she said, oh, you'll be getting one. And I said, okay. And I said, I've been trying to find out about this request, because when you get followed, when you go down the road by a federal person and their tactics and level of how they follow you and how they perceive you is really not like a normal investigator that they use. The federal people, they track you differently. Like, and sometimes they use 2, 3, but I've had more or less, if it's the federal type people, it's been 2. And I don't know why they're treating me like they're treating me. I have no idea. But,
so when they do an investigation, yeah, they're allowed to withhold certain information until they complete the investigation, unless the lawyer starts requesting things, so on and so forth. But bottom line is this: I mean, in your situation, they would not be investigating you for this amount of time continuously and repetitively. You're not financially worth it unless you're running a super crime ring, and I don't think you are running a crime ring. So I think, to be fair, you're very likely not under investigation anymore, and you might want to send in a new FOIA request for basically that letter, or just contact the SSA and ask them for an update status on that actual letter as to what's going on with it.
Yes, sir. I did resubmit. I did it electronically, and then I got the guy that called me and said that I should take the request, and he sent me an email and said, take your request and forward it to the local field office. And I did do that. Field office showed by tracking they got it. I called to ask if they uploaded it and put it in my file or in the database. And they said they had no recollection of it. Don't know where it's at. I said, okay. And then I got with you, and then a couple months back, and you said to just mail it back in to the home office in Baltimore, Maryland. And I did that. But they, now it shows it went to that particular department with the Freedom of Information at request. They did get it, and somebody signed for it, but I have not heard anything back. And when I went to mail that actual request, I got picked up and followed, and they always want to tend to, at first, they stay a little bit of a distance, but then they try to close the gap and get right up on your tail to confirm you're in the car or who's driving. And then they thought, if they're listening to my conversations on my cell phone, the day prior, I asked about what time they close for airmail at the store, and they told me. So then I had talked to you over the phone live, and that was just like the very next day I went out and mailed it. And I got one that went, they always like to get by the front door or really close to the front door, and they'll just sit in there. And their front windows are usually completely tinted, and their side windows are like 5% window tint. So when you got tint down the front and down the side, on the side, you cannot see in. And that's the same with some of the sheriff's cars. Some of the sheriff's units, they got tint all the way down the front window. And I thought at night that might be a risk for them, but they might have those cars specifically for different types of investigations or something. But the federal guy had a Toyota 4Runner with a government plate. They always have a government plate. And he sat in his car for 20 minutes right at the front of the door at the UPS store. I went around the back of the grocery store because I figured after he followed me in the parking lot that he knew that's probably where I was going. And so I went to the back and sat and waited. And he sat for 20 minutes, then went in and didn't mail anything, and then came back and sat for another 10. And I got in there like 2 minutes before closing.
So what I would say is, because keep in mind, I have to go to the next caller, but check in with them, give them a call again, see if you can get a status update. But again, I do not think you're under investigation or any further investigation, because they just do not have the money to send somebody to follow you around unless there's reason. And I know from the prior questions I've asked you before the call, you're not part of some international crime ring. You're not having a lot of money coming in. So bottom line is this: like they're not going to spend money investigating you. You're not worth it. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you have. You don't know any military secrets that are like going to, upend the United States. So, but let me get the next caller, good sir. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful night, okay?
Yes, sir, Attorney Walter. I thank you very much. They have had the sheriff sit in front of my house for like 5 minutes until a car came along and pushed him on, and then another one came to replace him that must have been right around the corner. And if they were using a device to try to pull information off my cell phone called a Stingray, which local people can do that, they normally have to have a warrant to do that, but they do use them. But he said, I videoed him. He sat in front of my house for about 10 minutes before another car came along and made him move. So I don't know why. There's nothing on my phone. And, if they're listening, if they have a warrant and they're able to tap cell phones, however they do it, they're not going to get anything but me calling my doctors and asking about if they got my records. And that's about it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch you a little bit later, but you have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we'll catch up down the line, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Walter.
Absolutely good, sir. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So Naomi's question, did anybody get a chance to copy that to the bottom? I'm still not seeing like a Naomi copy paste. I'm still not seeing it. Help me out, guys. Help me out with the question. All right, let me get the next call real quick. Here we go. And hi, we are live. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Attorney Walter Hnot. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I got some homework from you the last time I called.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. Yeah. I wanted to let you know that I now understand, I don't have it in front of me, but I now understand what the Social Security office would grid me out for.
Okay, good.
And so now I'm trying to understand, should I pester them to look at grid out, or do I just sit and wait? I'm on a reconsideration for COPD.
I mean, you can pester them for a grid out. You can even hire a vocational, analyst to go ahead and write out why you would essentially, not, why you would be in a situation where you should grid out. They can talk about how there aren't jobs in the available economy that you could potentially do. So there's things you can do related to that. Just remember, DDS is terrible, absolutely terrible when it comes to doing the grid outs as a comparison to administrative law. So just if you put in a bunch of effort and realize like, hey, they didn't really do what they're supposed to do or find in my direction, what the hell? They do that all the time. It's an unfortunate thing, but it happens all the time. Yeah.
Well, I haven't gotten a lawyer yet, and what I'm trying to figure out, is this something I can do on my own?
Sure.
Because I also didn't understand until I started listening to you that, they're not going to go as far back as more than a year for back pay. And so that's not a whole lot of money for somebody like me. I wasn't a professional. I am hoping for spousal benefits. And then, of course, that is what I think you said, 50% of their benefits. It's not like I'm going to get them plus mine or, make up a huge difference.
Right.
And
it's
so
not full stack.
Just trying to find out at this point, do I need a lawyer or can I continue to try to do this on my own?
I mean, so I don't usually do the answers of like, should you get an attorney? But for you, I'll do it. I'll go through the thing. The big thing that you have to keep in mind is that if you get an attorney, you want them to go through the medical record and, you want to have the thing collected, have them go through it and figure out what's good, what's bad. You might hire an attorney to go through this thing and realize it's a shit claim. You're not that bad. It is what it is. And believe it or not, that news is better than just flopping around expecting basically magic to happen, which is where a lot of people are at. It's just kind of where a lot of people are at. So also real quick, I just have to do a shout out. Sam McGuire, $1.99 donation. Let's see. Okay, Chevron wants a vid on Part D and Medicare final rule. I will try. The video is already huge on Chevron, but I'll try to add that. Old school truck driver, $20 donation. Wow. Very, very cool. You got to call me one day. That's awesome. Very, very cool. And final shout out, Tara Denise. Very good to see you with the 99-cent donation. That's awesome. Okay, so when it comes to your situation, the number one thing you want to do is get a disability attorney to read through the medical records and figure out whether or not this claim even has the potential of being approved. Some of them, they're just crap claims. There's nothing you can do. It is what it is. If it does have the potential of being approved, what type? Is it a listing level, a grid out, vocational allowance? Is it a CAL, compassion allowance listing? And then from there, have them prep something to communicate that to the DDS rep so they can get a push through. Most people do not realize that a lot of claims that have the potential of being approved at the lower level do not get approved at the lower level because, somebody didn't point something out, and the person who didn't see it was the medical consultant. So the DDS rep didn't get a good decision back from the medical consultant as to how severe your impairments actually are and how they limit your ability to function. So as a result of that, there's times where, yes, having an attorney early would make or break the claim, get her done quickly, etc. However, under the modern day existence, if you hire one of these big box law firms, the problem is that they have no interest, absolutely no interest. And considering how shitty the economy is, I totally agree with them at this point. But they have no interest in getting you approved at initial filing or reconsideration, only at the hearing level. And the reason why is that we can't make enough per claim at this point because the economy is so bad to survive unless these claims are basically going to the hearing level. Now, with that said, if they're easy, winny, quick through claims, they'll do that to go ahead. Well, I do that to get the 5-star reviews, just get her done, get them pushed through. But a lot of claims that I have, I know de facto they ain't going to go through an initial file and they're not going to go through a reconsideration because they just don't have medical evidence and the claim needs more time to develop. So with that said, it's one of those situations where you have to gauge, do I think I've got a good claim? Because if you don't have a good claim, hiring an attorney isn't going to make a difference. But if you do have a good claim, so let me even use another example. Attorneys will look through it and figure out what types of medical evidence you actually need. So I had one claimant, this was an interesting one. They got her birthday wrong. She would have gridded out, but for not having the correct birthday. So basically, I found the correct birthday, collect the information, and fixed it, and then she was found disabled under a grid. But they would have never found that unless I figured it out by reading through it. So sometimes you just get things where the attorney has to figure out what's going wrong with it. But let me do some basic with you. What's your current age?
I'm 58.
Okay. What are your top 5 impairments?
COPD, slip disc in my neck, thyroid cancer, which of course the thyroid was removed. So, I'm supposed to be doing yearly stuff or every 5-year stuff that I can't afford to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not doing it.
So real quick, let me jump in. So slip disc, did you have surgery on it?
No.
And what was the first impairment?
COPD.
Do you have an FEV number, one number?
Yes, 0.92.
0.92. You're sure it's that low?
Yeah, I had the report that night, but I didn't know what to look for when you gave me homework. So I was able to find it at the bottom of the last page, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
What is your
test me twice?
What is your current height?
5'3".
Okay, hold on. And you're sure it's the FEV1, right? We're not talking FVC, but FEV1.
Yes.
All right. So you're older than 20. Let's see, 5'3" in inches. Hold on. 5'3" inches in inches. 63. Let's see what we got here. So you scrolly. You're in this category. But wait, we need, let's see, height in inches right here. All right. So you should be able to listing level criteria out. So you are going to cite specifically 3.02 chronic respiratory disorder. So 3.02 listing level criteria to receive basically an approval. But here's the thing with that 3.02, you seem to be breathing pretty darn well over the phone. Are you sure that was the number that they gave you?
Yes. Here's what happened. I had part of my lung removed after it collapsed. And I was tested prior to that by Social Security, which they never gave me my records. And then I was tested after that. And so I don't know what the first records were because that was through Social Security. But the second records are very recent. They're within the last 6 months. Both times the doctor told me I had a blockage. So I was surprised to hear I still had a blockage.
Okay.
So I do have the testing to prove it, but I can't. The doctor that did my surgery was actually a cardiologist, and he told me, "Oh, you shouldn't need this oxygen lung." Well, it turned out I started needing it more and more, and now I can't even sleep without it. So something else is wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
Or worse than he thought.
Mhm.
I do have a history in my family of lung cancer, so I'm a little concerned that something's been missed or something else is developing. Also have a lot of calcification due to adult chicken pox. So that could be doing something else that I don't know about because I'm not a doctor.
Sure. I would roll the dice and wait for a decision. Shoot for that listing level allowance. If they deny you at that point, get an attorney to just push it through. But if you truly have those numbers and those numbers were consistent and you choose an alleged onset date based off of those numbers when they make sense from the medical record, then you should be okay for an approval.
Okay. Well, one last thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I can't find a doctor locally. Lawyer locally that wants to take a case like this. And I've been through this with 2 other relatives too. And I think it's from all the reasons that you cite. It's not worth it to them. Or whatever.
What is your DLI, your date last insured?
Oh, I'm insured right now through the Obamacare.
No. Your DLI. So it's a different date. It's the date in which when did you stop working over the table paying taxes?
It was probably May of 22 because that's when the claim was filed.
Okay, so you stopped working when you filed.
Yes, I had no choice.
And the work that you were doing was, you were like in payroll, receiving a check through payroll. Yeah. Okay, cool. So your DLI should be fine. So what I would say is this: see if you can get the listing level allowance. If you can't, then reach back out to me. And we'll kind of see what I can do with it. But bottom line is, you should be able to get with that, FEV one base number, a potential 3.02 base listing allowance, and that should help you out.
Well, thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, madam. Bye-bye. I'm going to look for Naomi's comment real quick. Let's see. I don't even remember what the original question was, and I can't even scroll up that high because it cuts it off after a certain point. Oh, it's so tricky because there are so many comments in here, and keep in mind, Naomi Pierce, process continue. I'm a veteran, ex-dialysis. Is that the same Naomi? That is. Okay. I'm 62, was injured 7 years ago, denied. I have arthritis in my neck, chronic back, gotcha, 9% complete. I mean, you're 62, you're searching basically for SSDI to ride to 67. If the question is this a good run-up? Arthritis in the neck, back, mid-back, lower back, hip and feet. I'd have to know how severe it is. Like, what are your actual, range of motion limitations, walking limitations, etc. Chronic pain, chronic fatigue. Everybody always has that. Basically some sort of arthropathy, etc. Filed again. My SSDI is 90% completed. So you should be getting decisions soon. So that is good. That is very good. Okay, so okay, so all right. If there are no more phone calls, although we did miss a bunch, I'm going to end the show there, and I will catch you guys all a little bit later. Please remember to like, please remember to subscribe, and then also head over to Google and type in disability resolution, throw some stars up there. I always appreciate that. With that said, I will be going live again on Thursday. I am preparing a bunch of short videos for you guys too. Now, as a heads up, with that all said, if you need me to do more than the live where I have to figure something out, look through your paperwork, tell you what good answers should go on your paperwork, and you just need an hour of my time, you can buy an hour. There's a mini contract below. It's like a super cheap price compared to what other attorneys are going for. And then the other thing is basically, whatchamacallit, if you need representation, obviously just give the law firm a call and we can always go from there during the 9 to 5. But keep in mind, on Wednesdays, you'll never get me because I'm working with the homeless at the homeless center. I will catch you guys a little bit later. You have a wonderful night and we'll go from there. Thanks so much, everybody. Have fun. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.